The event will begin shortly.
Sudah 4 dasawarsa, UT hadirkan pendidikan berkualitas tanpa batas.
UT selalu berfokus ke masa depan dengan tetap berpijak pada nilai-nilai dan budaya adiluhung Nusantara. Digitalisasi layanan pendidikan mempermudah masyarakat dan mahasiswa mendapatkan informasi mengenai UT. Selain tercetak, bahan ajar juga diberikan dalam bentuk digital, guna memudahkan mobilitas mahasiswa. Dengan demikian, belajar bisa dilakukan di mana saja, kapan saja, dan bersama siapa saja. Digitalisasi pendidikan juga diformulasikan ke dalam loka pasar digital mata kuliah yang ditawarkan oleh Indonesia Cyber Education Institute atau ICE Institute. Beragam mata kuliah dari perguruan tinggi terkemuka di tanah air dan mancanegara ditawarkan secara online. Perpustakaan UT sebagai salah satu unit vital di perguruan tinggi menawarkan fasilitas digital yang memungkinkan mahasiswa, dosen, tenaga kependidikan, bahkan masyarakat umum untuk mengakses sumber pustaka secara lebih leluasa. Beragam layanan yang diberikan memastikan student engagement dapat dilaksanakan dengan better, cheaper, and faster. UT pada tahun ini mengedepankan internasionalisasi program sebagai upaya menyejajarkan UT dengan perguruan tinggi jarak jauh berkualitas di dunia. Selain menawarkan program internasional, akreditasi internasional pun dilakukan. International Trust yang tinggi akan meningkatkan kredibilitas UT dan lulusannya. Public trust terhadap UT ditandai dengan terus meningkatnya jumlah mahasiswa UT dari tahun ke tahun.
Semoga keluar dari sini makin
Her Excellency, the Vice Dean for Student Affairs, Learning Services and Collaboration at Faculty of Economics and Business, Ms. Olivia Idrus, S.A. M.Si. His Excellency, Head of the Doctoral Program in Management at the Graduate School, Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Martino, Wibowo, M.Si, Ph.D. His Excellency, Head of Internal Control Unit of Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Hendrian, S.A. M.Si. Honorable Speakers, the Vice Rector for Finance and General Affairs and Professor of Public Financial Accounting at Universitas Terbuka, Professor Dr. Ali Muktiyanto, S.A. M.Si., Honorable Speaker, the Chair in Accounting at Sheffield University, Professor Kelum Jayasinghe. Respectable all participants in this room and online. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants. It is an honor to welcome you all to this international webinar with the topic Behavioral, Accounting, and Strategic Financial Management, organized by the Faculty of Economics and Business in collaboration with Doctoral Program of Management Universitas Terbuka. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Anissa Zahwa. I'm a lecturer at Faculty of Economics and Business. I will be the master of ceremony of today's activities. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us officially commence the program. To begin our event, we kindly ask everyone to stand as we honor our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by the Universitas Terbuka hymn. Everyone, please rise. Please be seated. Next, we are privileged to have opening remarks from Ms. Olivia Idrus, S.A.M.S.C., the Vice Dean for Student Affairs, Learning Services, and Collaboration at the Faculty of Economics and Business. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming her.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Honorable Prof. Kelum Jayasinghe, Chair of the Accounting Program at the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. Professor Ali Muktiyanto, Vice Rector for Finance and General Affairs of Universitas Terbuka. Dr. Martino Wibowo, Head of the Doctoral Program in Management at Graduate School of UT. Dr. Hendrian, Head of Internal Control Unit of UT. And all participants of this international webinar and the dedicated committee who have worked hard to organize this event. Let us express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, for His blessing and grace that enable us to gather here in a hybrid format, virtually via Zoom meeting and in person at the Faculty of Economics and Business for this international webinar with the theme Behavioral Accounting and Financial Management, Enhancing Government Employee Performance. It is a great honor for us to welcome two exceptional speakers. There are Prof. Kelum Jayasinghe, a renowned expert in behavioral accounting and Chair of the Accounting Program at the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom, and Prof. Ali Muktiyanto, Vice Rector for Finance and General Affairs of Universitas Terbuka. Their presence undoubtedly adds immense value to our discussions and serves as an inspiration for us all. The theme of this webinar is highly significant, especially in today's complex and dynamic world. Behavioral accounting and financial management are not only vital in the private sector, but also form the foundation for enhancing the performance of government employees. In this case, behavioral accounting is a dimension of accounting related to understanding how human behavior has a causal relationship to the accounting system. In the context of government organization, behavioral accounting becomes relevant to understand how employee behavior, work culture values, and government internal control systems affect the performance and accountability of government organization. By understanding how human behavior influences financial decision-making, we can develop systems that are more accountable, transparent, and result and impact-oriented. As part of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka, we are proud to facilitate these scholarly discussions. We hope this forum foster collaboration and the exchange of insight among academics, practitioners, and policymakers at both national and international levels. In conclusion, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who has contributed to the success of this event. May this webinar bring great benefit to us all and serve as a stepping stone toward improved governance and performance in the public sectors. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Olivia, for your excellent words. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, we invite all participants and speakers to join a quick group photo sessions. So please everyone be seated. For the speakers, could you please turn around your seat for a while? Okay. So the camera will, yeah. Everyone's ready? Please look at the camera and smile. One, two, three. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. All right, we are now moving to the presentation sessions. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Martino Wibowo as our moderator today to officially guide the main session of today's activity. But before we start the presentation session, let me introduce our moderator briefly. Mr. Martino is a head of the doctoral program in Management Universitas Terbuka and currently working as a permanent lecturer at the Universitas Terbuka. Experience in the world of practitioners and academics, the research focuses on the development of micro, small, and medium enterprises, innovation management, digital economy, e-management, human resources information system, and financial technology. Ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to welcome Mr. Martino Wibowo. Mr. Martino, please take the lead.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Anissa Zahwa, for the very nice introduction, and you are as the very prettiest MCs today's session. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Salam Kebajikan, and Rahayu. Well, very good morning to everyone, to honorable guests, the rectors, vice rectors, faculty members, honorable guests, keynote speakers, and participants of the hybrid visiting lecture that we're doing in online and both offline as well. And the main topics for today is behavioral accounting and financial management in terms of enhancing government employee performance. We wish you all the very best and best wishes you for every success. In particular, I'm have so much gratitude for my colleagues, Pak Hendrian, that has been connecting the dots between we and also Prof. Kelum in Sheffield University, United Kingdom. And as mentioned earlier by the Master of Ceremony, my name is Martino Wibowo. You can call me Tino, and allow me to guide this first and second session from the comments to the end. Okay, so for this session, we will have two lectures. There will be first plenary session and will be delivered by Professor Dr. Ali Muktiyanto, S.A. M.Si, our Vice Rectors in Finance, Human Resource Development and General Affairs of Universitas Terbuka. And he will present about issues and challenges in public sectors governance for sustainability. Then the second plenary session will be given by Professor Kelum Jayasinghe, Ph.D., a professor of Accounting and Development Policy, Sheffield University Management School, SUMS, University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. He will present a presentation titled Improving Performance in the Public Sectors. And once again, please allow me to give to all our speakers here, Prof. Kelum Jayasinghe and Prof. Ali. We are so grateful that all of you are able to give a live presentation today, and we wish you all a very good health. And one note for all audience here before we moving ahead. Please prepare questions that may you will raise in the end of the session. And don't forget to put your identity for the question and whom the question is asked for. And now we will begin for the first lecture by Prof. Ali. Yeah, Prof. Ali, as we planned in the second session, but because of there are many activities he should be attended, so we please Professor Ali to have the first session. So allow me to read a brief CV of our first speaker, Professor Ali Muktiyanto. As we know, Prof. Ali is our Vice Rectors, and he has many certified in terms of accounting, public sector. He has certified risk associate (CRA) and certified risk professional (CRP), and also many experiences in the organizational activities, and also the prowessness in lots of things about the research. And then now he will present his materials for 30 to 60 minutes presentation. And I want to please Prof. Ali to begin the presentation. Time and place will be yours, Prof. Ali. Okay. Sami-sami, bro.
Thank you so much. Distinguished guys, Professor Kelum, I'm very proud of you. All participants, my beloved junior lecturer in this room. This is all my junior lecture. I many new face in this room. That means I have been all in this room, like you. Thank you. Thank you, Martino. And in this moment, I would like to present about the contemporary issues in public sector accounting and business sector accounting. This issue is very important for us to the next research. And in this room, we have the prominent scholar, we have a popular, very famous researcher from UK, Prof. Kelum. We can join this idea, these issues, and connect it with Prof. Kelum. Yeah. Okay. Maybe, okay. The issues and challenges in public sector governance for sustainability. All participants in my career from 2000 with Pak Hendrian, my college, my big bro, Pak Hendrian, he teach me about good and bad lecture in UT, my mentor, Pak Hendrian. But the difference is tonight. I am rich vice rector, and he's still head of finance and audit performance. Okay, this topic, next slide. Yeah. Topic content about public accounting and private, and then governance in public sector and governance versus governance in business and contemporary issues, particularly accounting theory, and the last one, sustainability accounting process. Okay, for the wide scope of point of view, public accounting and versus private. You know, in the common view, accounting public and private like same, but this is the different sector and different different areas. Yeah. Public sector, business sector. We know accounting in business sector. We know management accounting, financial accounting, internal auditing, information accounting system, and etc. In public sector, we have studied about this area. Yeah, accounting management in public, tax in public, financial performance in public sector, and etc. So, but we have the differences, many differences, purposes, objective, stakeholder regulation and compliance, about transparency and accountability, participating, structure and accountability. In public sector, we know the main objective is achieving good public welfare. And the orientation is civil society, Prof. Kelum, and public excellent public services. But in private sector, the goal is to improve, to rise profitability, growth, and sustainability, especially for shareholder. And in public sector, stakeholder is the wider community citizen, public stakeholder, and so the residual claimant is the citizen. But in private sector, the shareholder just investor and consumer. In point of view regulation and compliance, like this morning we discussed, in public sector is very strict regulated. Yeah, law and regulation. But in private, regulated by market mechanism and corporate law. So different. The transparency and accountability for public sector emphasis on public trust. In other side, in private sector, emphasis is placed on attracting investor and maintaining market confidence. So the free market is the king of the private sector. The participation in public sector involves the community in decision making. The participation of society is very, very interesting. But in private, limited to shareholder and other business stakeholders. For institutional structure, we know in public sector very bureaucratic and rigid and hierarchical. So we need a long time, we need more resource and human resource. But in private, depend on participatory of stakeholder. And for accountability in public sector, public sector management is responsible to the community, to the state and citizen, because the source of fund used in the provision of public services come from the community, especially tax from the citizen. But in private, management accounting is accountable to the owner, just to the owner of the company, shareholders and creditor for the fund provided, as long as employee. Okay, the next slide. In the recent years, we know in 20-30 years, the SDGs is mandatory for us to fulfill. So the issues of governance related to SDGs are, the first one is good governance. The good governance is the most priority to the public, to accountability. In the decision-making process. And the second one, integrated thinking. Governance in sustainability development goals involves considering the interconnectedness between various goals and the need for a holistic approach to governance. And the third one, governance for SDGs, the outcome-based governance, this principle involves setting clear outcome and indicators for each goal and ensuring the policies and programs are designed to achieve those outcomes. So the key performance indicator focus on outcome. And the fourth one, stakeholder engagement. It involves a wide range of stakeholders, including civil society, the private sector, and local communities in the decision-making process. And the fifth one, institutional arrangement. This includes ensuring that these institutions are effective, accountable, and inclusive, and have the necessary capacity and resources to implement policies and the sixth one, risk management. This includes identifying and mitigation risks that could impact the achievement of goals such as climate change, economic instability, and social unrest. And the last one, about transparency and accountability, the core of the core governance in public sector. This includes ensuring that information is publicity available and that those responsible for implementing policies and programs are accountable for their action. Okay, the next slide. So we can compare the public sector versus business for special in governance. Based on goals or purpose, public governance providing public goods. The orientation is public good. And excellent services, protecting the right of citizens. Maximum welfare for citizens. But for business governance, generate profit, serves shareholder and stakeholder. For accountability, public governance responsible to the citizen and government. But for business, accountability for shareholder, investor, employee, and consumer. For freedom, the action restricted by law and regulation. So the GRC concept, governance, risk, and compliance, this is very important for public sector. But business governance not limited by conflicted bureaucracy. So in political character, public governance driven by political direction, very heavy in political direction and official regulation. But in business, spread from politics influenced by market forces. But in Indonesian, we know the term of oligarchy, the first merit, business and politics. So very interested to research Prof. Kelum in Indonesia, political and market join to oligarchy mechanism. So the next slide. The issue the contemporary both of public and business, green accounting governance in public and private, carbon issues, we know, this is rise from energy, from the change of energy by fossil to the silicon or carbon and nickel. And the externalities, the impact of the operational corporation, global warming, the impact and the anticipation from us, and information technology in government accounting. For accountability, the technology information system is very, very important. We can prepare and report to the public by accountability and transparency, operate by system information technology. And good government, the issue important in Indonesia, good government and corruption eradication. We know it's long time, the SBY president era to Jokowi era and the last President Prabowo, the index corruption, the perception index corruption is still below the 50. Now Indonesia is very, we need the strong policies, we need the strong leadership to combating and eradicating the corruption. And in issues, another issues in Indonesia to develop the developing countries, to develop the economic is good procurement governance. Many corruption based on the abuse of power from the public servant, collaborate, collusion with the businessmen to corrupt, to win the project. And public and private organization, regulation, human resource, and the last one, social capital. Social capital in the recent era is very interesting because we have the very rich archipelagos, very rich culture in many kind of social capital. We have gotong royong, bela gadong, and arisan, and etc. The participating and involving the citizen to the development. So the next slide, maybe 2 slides to the last, we can involve the basic theory to view and to shape the phenomenon based on public theory, agency theory, the conflict of interest between principal and agent, ownership theory from the top management to the lower management to the employee, stewardship theory, and the last one, market-based value and resource-based value. The question is maybe for Prof. Kelum, what the correlation between market-based value and resource-based value for the public sector. This is the new theory to implement in this public area. Okay, the last slide. So the goals of sustainability accounting is three today's society without their own needs. Operation, and the last one, integrate sustainability principle in business decision and public policies to achieve a balance between economic growth, process, the flow of information as a product or services to be obtained by internal and external in outcome and public sustainability information. All participants participate in this room and Zoom. This is the last my slide. And thank you for your attention. And once again.
We may step into the Q&A. Prof. Ali, if you not mind, we have only one question. After Professor Kelum round? Okay, then, okay. Okay, the question and answer session will be gathered by Professor Kelum session. So we may please the question later on from the online and offline the audience. So dear respected ladies and gentlemen, after this first session, it turns to the second session by Prof. Kelum to present the materials for today's presentation about the behavioral, about the, wait a minute. Behavioral accounting and financial management. Sorry, I will. Okay, yeah, before we moving, I will read for the short resume of Prof. Kelum. He joined the Sheffield University Business Schools in January 2023, having previously held the position at the University of Essex as a chair in accounting, University of Wales, Aberystwyth, University of Bradford, UK, and University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. His international visibility is evidenced in his extensive profile of publication in reputable journals, including Accounting, Auditing, Accounting Journal, AAG, CPA, Accounting Forum, Qualitative Research in Accounting and Management, KRAM, Journal of Public Budgeting, Accounting and Finance Management, International Journal Entrepreneurial Behavioral Research, and so many things that I can mention above. And he has held a visiting appointment at a University of Southern Eastern Norway, University of Glasgow, University of Southampton, University of Cardiff, and some research collaboration with the University of Gajah Mada in Indonesia, University of Mercu Buana, and University of M.Si in New Zealand, and several Sri Lankan universities, and he is active members of the BAFA Special Interest Group on Accounting and Finance in Emerging Economics, IFFA, African Accounting and Financial, AFA, and Comparative Asian Africa, ACGA Group. And so many his profession experience, so I cannot mention so many because like a supervision research. Okay, okay, Prof. Kelum, without further ado, we welcome you to do a presentation. It's about 30 to 60 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you for Tino. I call him Tino. I don't. I'm not a person well, so I apologize every time we go. But I don't like to call Dr. Martino because then he distance between you and me. I like to call Tino. So Tino is my friend and my great friend Henry and also here and Professor Ali. We know each other so much, and so it's really good pleasure to be here in Open University. I think this is not my first visit to Indonesia anyway. It's more like even I can't count, I guess. Yesterday I tried to count how many I probably it's my 14th or 15th visit to UK. I'm sorry, Indonesia. And I've been to all these places everywhere. Indalas, GM, and Malang, Surabaya, and near Moshuana, and National of Indonesia. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it took time to come to here. So I think and I'm glad to be here. So before going to the talk, I think I have to give you, because I think Tino has highlighted. system, services provided by the system. So then people, so I think it's a triangle kind of a thing. So in my talk, I just try to do, so hopefully I'm not distracting you, having slide there, me here, and so just I try to connect with you all the time. And so one is the introducing this text of public sector accounting and accounting. What is mean? I think already, as a Professor Ali done a great job. I don't need to cover anything serious, right? That's a good point, good context. And then there are general ideas of World Bank, IMF, and then all our transnational organizations. They tell us what to do, right? Always they tell us what to do. Not we decide what we need to do. The problem always, right? In the public sector, problem is that we have some outsiders, they think they know. And so that's come back to that later. So then, according to them, what are the drivers for improving the public sector performance? That means organizations' performances and the people who manage the public sector, their performances. And then there are some transnational organizations like World Bank, IMF. They brought different kind of frameworks. We call it agendas or models, whatever you call it, or guidelines to improve the public sector performances. So there are some examples, what called new public management, new public governance, and then SDGs now, sustainable development goals. So they come always with different narratives. They gave poverty alleviation, globalization and localization, privatization. Now the new thing is sustainable development, right? For the development of the economies as well as the public sector as a driving force, which direction they should take. So this is just briefly we need to know about that as well. And then my experience and my research and others' research, my team's research, and with this whole that we have, I just used the third thing, the general overview that whether public sector doing well or not. If they are doing bad, what bad, what less productive, and then why? Why they are less productive, and what level of performance sector, and then researching. If you are researching public sector issues, which directions, which topics you can look at, and which way you can investigate. I try to shorten my class. It's like a one-day workshop, but just a 40 minutes snapshot. Okay, so go to the next. Okay, so this is M.Si, this slide. I think it's easy now because you can refer back to Dr. Ali's contents that he covered. And one new thing is that when you say public sector accounting and accountability, right? So I mentioned NPM, NPG, we talked that a little later. But there's one thing I think we need to understand, one thing, IPSAS. That means International Public Sector Accounting Standards. That's always IPSAS, that means that bring idea of bringing a bit of a private sector type financial reporting, recording and reporting into the public sector organizations for the purpose of what? You can see the increase in the legitimacy of transactions and then create some good norms and then for responsible, accountable performances of the organizations, IPSAS. So this is more like the GAPS, that means generally accepted accounting standards by international organizations. Because there were no public sector standards earlier. To make the public sector performances increase, to make that, achieve that objective, argument from IMF and World Bank and then accounting bodies that public sector need professionally qualified public accountants, and also need the reporting standards. So there were some efforts to bring the GAPS, the general accounting standards, generalized accounting standards into private public sector. It is called IPSAS. I think there are a lot of research on IPSAS area, adaptation of IPSAS at the national level, local level, but it's failed to achieve because usually public sector, they do cash accounting, right? So with this IPSAS, the accounting bodies and the IMF World Bank, they try to introduce the same accrual accounting systems to the public sector. That's the key shift in the reporting, but it's not just reporting. Why IPSAS brought in? To increase accountability. Because when you have cash accounting, it's just the receipts, income and expenditure. The politicians, the decision maker, they decide where they want to spend the money. So there's a transparency, no reference to further evidence and expenses made in the past and the futures. So that's why it came the IPSAS, that with that the accrual accounting basis introduced to public sector with the aim of improving the public sector performance. So I'm talking the same thing, my topic, not out of that. But again, it become contradictory, it become questionable in terms of implementation, because there are so many issues in the public sector in relation to professional accounting. What is the main issue you can guess? There's no qualified public accountants. And many countries, there's no public sector professional accounting body. Even. Private sector we have. In Indonesia, any country, they have a national professional accounting body, and ACCAs and CIMA and all these management accounting, financial, both sides. There are international accounting bodies competing with each other, fighting to capture the market. That's another issue. I'm a different kind of a person, so I have criticism about these guys as well. So anyway, coming back to our point that the IPSAS then not work because of the capacity issues. There's no professional accounting body, no resources at the local government and public sector accounting level to manage, and then no knowledge, and also no other resources, institutional level, to implement this thing. And also there are some other issues like how we value some natural assets. Some public assets are difficult to measure. Museums. How you measure museums? And masterpieces. That's belong to government, and this is in the government inventory, right? So these sort of issues came up. So because of that, IPSAS become failure. So what happened is then this international public sector accounting body, they decided, they developed another version of, modified version of IPSAS, we call modified IPSAS. So it has, to some extent, you can have accrual, but at the same time, you can use cash basis as well. So at the end, what happened in the world, most of the public sector accounting, like local government, national governments, what they try to do is they have one piece, that one part of the reporting done with accrual, the other part in cash basis. Right? That's the context, not the research thing. We have a lot to discuss. This is the context. Yeah, and then I'll go to the next one. Next slide. Okay. Yes. Okay. I thought already that person started sleeping. That's not a good sign. Maybe I have to sing a song afterwards, because I did lectures in Malang and Surabaya. Dancing is number one. So if you are tired, maybe tell me, I can sing and dance. Break the rhythm and then come back to the lecture again. Yeah. Okay, so then the World Bank, according to the World Bank, is a World Bank global report. So to improve the public sector performance, the same thing that my topic I'm talking again. So there are 5 things they need to do. Political leadership. I'm not going to talk about how we improve the political leadership. Already Dr. Professor Ali mentioned about what's going on here. And the institutional capacity building, I just mentioned that. Capacity building is, yes, we know. We all know where we get this money or resources, the training, and then incentives matter. We know that. World Bank, they don't need to tell us. We know incentives matter. Public sector, one of the biggest problems in the public sector is people are underpaid, right? So, why you stay in the public sector? Even academia is difficult to stay long term, because the government salaries are not, next year you are going to have tax increase as well, I heard, right? So it's difficult life. And then to people not to corrupt, not to engage with corrupt activities, they must be paid somewhere. They should be incentivized. That's the starting point. How you tell police not to get bribes? They should be paid first. Otherwise, they are working beyond work hours. Right? We all go and sleep, police on the streets. I don't know Indonesia, I know about many other countries. Then increase transparency. We know that. World Bank, they don't need to tell that. This problem is always that thing, how to create the transparency. This is ridiculous, this is what they say, because in this thing, driving forces, we know the problem, driving forces into action, right? And then technology and innovation, yes, digitalized budgeting, that's improved, will improve. But then how we have the capacity? Digitalized budgeting. AI made something. We know AI can help. We need the knowledge, we know the money to bring AI and robots, right? And all these things anyway, this is what the discussion, this is the discourse. Discourse means they say, we hear, some people try, some fail. So these are maybe another research project later, how to understand how the driving forces are really implementing in our countries. Our countries mean emerging economies. The countries are emerging. They never emerge. Because they cannot emerge because they were global north, the so-called developed country. They won't allow us to emerge further. They always create some problems. Okay, go to the next slide. So I mentioned about there are some framework or the models or strategic actions that the World Bank and transnational organizations introduce to us all the time. So one of the things is participatory budgeting. So the argument behind participatory budgeting is that so bringing the citizens, I think Professor Ali mentioned that, citizens into the resource allocations, increase the transparency and the accountability. Because the public sector services are for the people, citizens. So then if the citizens are involved at the beginning of the resource allocation decisions, and then I published a paper with one of the Indonesian scholars on this East Java, how the participatory budgeting work in East Javian villages. Right? So then they are and also your country have legalized, regulated this participatory budgeting mechanism, Musaramba, from national to the villages. Right? So then the purpose and the objective is genuine, and that's very good, that bring the villagers into the local chiefs' decision-making, mayor's decision-making at the very beginning. They discuss what the village needs and what budget is available, what is the best course of action and the investment area. And then these decisions pass to the regions pass to the district pass to the government. But the problem is that there are so many problems in the participatory budgeting process, and politicians capturing it, involving it, and sometimes wasting the time. This is what my research in Indonesia we found relating to PB in this East Javian village. You don't need this Musarambang and filling forms. They always participated. When the village chief doing a good thing, people voluntarily come, and this is a social practice. So one problem is the World Bank thing, Indonesians are not involving with anything. They are not like helping each other. Sri Lankans are worse. They think in their own way how the British people and Americans work in the everyday life. Our people in this part of the world are very always socially connected. We don't need a theory to understand, like participatory budgeting, to have our own budgeting. Our problems are much beyond that. Right? So this model, at the end, so much of criticism and mixed results. And places like South Korea, they're working. South Korea is kind of an Asian country working like British. It could work. Right? It didn't work in Japan. Japan is always group working, group thinking. They didn't need participatory budgeting, but different results. So kind of I'm saying research side as well. My point is participatory budgeting model came, implemented, produced mixed results. Right? So then now it is no more discussions anymore because the research world also stopped that doing research any further. My last research was in Benin. I did work for World Bank. And then in that we showed how narrowed the World Bank approach to participatory budgeting in Benin. Obviously there are some results like bringing women into decision making, women participation increase in African budgeting decisions. But it's ceremonial in the sense, not like any. Second thing is the new public management. I think there are slides for this, I guess. Go to this slide. That's okay, I don't need it. But for second one, there's a slide as well. First one also there's a slide. Okay. Go to the other. Yeah, because I normally don't need the slides, so, but I think for you, okay, that's the slide. So then, yeah, so new public management. What does the new public management mean? This is also World Bank and professional accounting bodies together introduce this. What is the meaning of that? It's important when you want to know public sector performances, how to improve what we did in the past. Because new public management means bringing the private sector practices into the public sector. It's called, some people call it, is a managerialism. Bringing this private sector decision-making practice, process and the practices to the public sector. The one essential element behind that was accrual account, as well as this various other details, how the private sector works. So identical board structures and things try to introduce to the public sector. And then because of the struggle that NPM is having, because of the reasons I already mentioned, no accountants and no trained management experts in that, and then they bought another version, they call New Public Governance. They thought it's better to highlight not just the accounting, make it more accountable, accountability, transparency, and the participation together. What is the meaning of governance? Governance means accountability, transparency, and participation. So new public management, that is management. They thought that is just management. Now we have to bring much bigger version, the governance. With that we can encourage more accountability, transparency, and the participation. It's the same thing. Same old biscuit in a new house. Same old wine in a new bottle. Nothing big change. Because everything, the ground reality, the capacity problems, cultural problems, political problems, when you introduce new things in the public sector, still remain same. But the World Bank brought another version. Okay. So go to the next slide. Okay. Okay, the new version is called SDGs. I think Professor Ali has that, SDGs. And because the NPM not working, NPG not working, success 100%. Now new version, because now there's a climate change, now there's environmental sustainability, right? We need to have a holistic approach. Then everything will be all right. Right? So then they brought this idea of SDG goals. Go to the next slide. So in the SDG goals, this is the thing. Now everyone is familiar. I mean, every citizen in this planet is familiar to these 17 indicators. Right? So then so many consultants are now working, earning. Researchers are getting grants. Right? And I'm doing some work as well, not for the money actually, for the councils. How the councils are implementing SDG in UK. I just finished the report before coming here. So this is a beautiful framework, to be honest. I have to say that because we are talking about performance. So we have to manage the performances of the employees, public sector employees, and at the same time we have to measure. We should know which way these public sector employees or the organizations are working. How we measure. Previously, we don't have a way to measure. We thought like control and performance measurement under the new public management. At the same mechanisms they can bring into public sector to measure the performance of the employees. That means you given the targets, how you achieve the target. But the public sector targets are much bigger. Not like private sector, like sales target. Achieve 100,000 sales per month. So then the employee can be assessed after the month. Have you achieved 100? It's not like that. The public sector results taking longer time. It's like the social welfare, poverty, and all these much bigger targets. It's difficult to measure public sector performances. This model actually, the previous one, the big one, 17 indicators. Yeah. So then, that one gives the idea of everyone that to cover ESG as well. That means environment, social, and other performances, because it has poverty, zero hunger, good health. First thing starting with the social side, I mean economic side, people. And then you can see in between the climate action, and I know my friend Tino, very happy see fish here, because he's working in the blue infrastructure development, marine side of it. I'm so happy, green here, the climate change, that's my work. So this is our work now, right? So then the co-production, as partnerships for goals, co-production is another significant. So everything, if we are looking at positively, constructively, into looking at this framework, it covers things like how we focus on the economy, society, and the environment together as a team. Together as a team. All the stakeholders, the state, the private sector, in the public sector, and the non-governmental organizations, and people co-production, working together, partnerships. So that's a very significantly improved version of to look at the sustainable development in the time at the time of climate crisis. So this is performance measurement. That's what my point. This is a good performance measurement tool. Just to one say local review. There's another mechanism we call voluntary national review. So using these indicators and looking at the work the national government or local government, which areas this local government spend more money and then more attention, and how they can do it with partnership with whom, and then they can do that for the national government, they can do it to the local government, and then we can conclude at the end of this kind of analysis, local voluntary review, local or national reviews, which areas this improvements are needed, which areas they are doing very well. UK, the report is to one council called Basildon. That's the third report in UK. So you are going to introduce this to all local government associations in UK in the future. We have a team now, we are doing that part. So this is a good framework for the time being. Because this is not about details like NPM, NPG, this is what you should do. This is about ourselves. We can analyze ourselves as public sector employees or organizations, what we can do, what we need to do. To do that, with whom we can work co-productive. And then, when working to do what we need to do, how long it takes, what resources we need, where the problem areas in, whether it's the culture, the politics, or the economic side that we need, how we address it. It's a kind of a good guideline to this paper. So, I summarized that's what I said already. That means key indicators. Every indicator is important, but key indicators I say, no poverty and single. This is one of the things, main objectives of local governments and many public sector organizations, public welfare, and they are looking after the public. The other most important thing, not only the public sector, every one of us, climate actions, climate literacy, engaging with the climate change, changing our past, what we did, we destroyed the planet. We have to now change our attitudes, starting from the attitudes, then the actions. And then the blue and green infrastructure development, I just put yesterday because between you and me. That's very important thing. That's again, green means that, you can understand this whole green park, the forest management, that's the green, the people. And the blue, the fisheries and water and all these things, that's the second most important. So when you have green and blue, everything in the planet is covered. So infrastructure development and protection, and then the co-production, that's the third, fourth to me, this is my view. From the 17, co-production is the most important because that's the action. Where are we? With whom? I said that already. I think so. These are the four, key focus. Okay. Voluntary local review, I think I told about that. So every city is now doing that. Even in relation to SDGs, I want to say public sector, not the public sector, private sector organizations, corporate, they also prepare SDG analysis now. Do you believe that? They also do that. They don't do any, I think, they don't do like even 2, 3 of SDGs helping that, but they also say we follow SDG framework, we are a sustainable company. They are the guys doing all this damage to the world, planet. They are now using this as well to mislead us in the future. Greenwashing. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, I think to me, I apologize. Well, so this is the most important slide to me out of the discussion. So in my view and my experience and my research, I haven't highlighted which paper talking about what in general. There's the there are some findings from our research and the evidence, and my team, all you probably know Pawan Adhikari, Divara and Subarayan, all our team, Sasha Dudin, we done over these years so much of work together, and individually and collectively. So our findings have given this thing, why we asked the question, and why this public sector perform badly or less productive. If you don't like the word this year badly, you can go angry and say, oh, how you say we are doing badly? We are not that bad. Okay. Less productive. That's a nice thing. I mean, utter failure. Public sector is a failure. That's the way. But I like to make it more simple. So one is the lack of formal systems, or systems are just on paper. If I say no systems, people argue, how you say? We have policy document, we have law, we have regulations, we have bureaucracy. We talk in the morning, bureaucracy. It's not about the action that important. The rules are the important sometimes. It's over-regulated sometimes. Otherwise, regulations are there, no one is following. That's the biggest problem. So most of the cases, I think my understanding is, our understanding is, our observation is, no systems in place, in action, I'm saying. Not in the paper. Forget the paper thing. No point having systems on paper if it is not followed. That means no system. Right? If you go to, say, for example, want to get some support from the police. If the police has no procedure and they are not taking down the note, you are waiting in 1 hour in the police station, ending up beaten, and then no action by the policeman. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about Indonesia, I'm talking about Sri Lanka. Okay. Then, so emerging economies, Africa worse. So then there's no system. If policemen doing that, there should be a system that again, we can complain to somebody. Whom do we complain? In UK, we have this thing. UK policemen scared. Why? If complaint goes to independent committee, they are losing the job, not only him, the Scotland, their chief has to resign. Do we have this system in Sri Lanka? No. I'm not talking about Indonesia. Right? So that's the situation. So that means, why argue? No system. In reality, on paper, yes. Right? So then how we measure, how we talk about public sector performance when there are no systems? You can think about it. And then lack of employee empowerment with aim of improving performance and job satisfaction and promoting innovation. So I talked about this already, I think I touched it. If we are not paid well, how we manage our family? So then to manage our family, if we are not paid well, we think about finding some money from somewhere, right? That's how this whole corruption and everything starts. So corruption, when you see corruption and accountability, we always think, blame the politicians. They are just one party of doing that. Any country, if the country is corrupt, public officials are also involved. They always say, when the politicians say something, how we say, no. What happens is politicians take more bulk form. Officials also take a quota form. And officials also has layers. Everyone taking something home. So everyone having a nice, enjoyable journey together. Because these civil service people are so privileged in the comparing poor people in the streets. I'm not talking about Indonesia, I'm talking about Sri Lanka or Africa all the time. Don't misunderstand. You can think about yourself. Right? I'm not Indonesian, even though travel a lot in Indonesia. Okay, so my point is that, so empowering, well, not just the finance, giving the authority to decide, to make actions. Can officers take actions in Sri Lanka, in Africa? No, why? If you take actions, a call coming from someone else and ask, why did you do this? He's my man, my cousin. Right? Then what? One thing, no system, the other thing, no empowerment. Right? Officer has no power at all. Right? And then capacity issues in the local level. So Kerala, one of our friends did the research, Pawan Adhikari, and then the capacity issues, obviously we all know the capacity. That's a poor, innocent argument here. It's an institutional analysis, but it's important that we don't have the professionally qualified accountants, public accountants, we don't have the economic resources, and some places no even places to sit down and talk, have a meeting. Here we have a meeting room. Some places don't have that. And then political capture, obviously, this is the thing. You think this is happening only in the political capture, mean politicians interfere with the resource allocation decisions. Because they want results to show the public, not the change in the public life, results to show public, the pictures, how the fun, how that person did this opening ceremony. Huh? That's the thing they need, not the real bridge. If the bridge collapses within 1 year, doesn't matter. And lose 100,000 people while walking in the bridge, doesn't matter. As far as the bridge is open and the name is quite. I'm talking about Sri Lanka and Africa, not about Indonesia. I'm saying repeatedly. So political capture is not happening in emerging economies, it's happening in UK as well. Because I know so many of local government work, council work, and for example, I was involved with one project in Colchester, one council, it's a city now, main council of the city, that is about developing blue and green infrastructure. I think we talked about that. And there's a local river. We discussed about how we improve this sustainable business model in that and then bring some income to the local council. It's a brilliant model because Indian discussion and findings that we invited all the key stakeholders in the city, in the region. But politicians like it. Why? It showed everything that can be doable and more pragmatic, practical. Politicians said it takes ages, more 3-4 years. In UK, the local political councillors are having only 1 year. Every year there's election. They want the results within 1 year. So they want to approve this business proposal. Just because these councillors, they were thinking about the next election. So we normally think it's happening in Sri Lanka and Africa, but it's happening in UK as well. I don't know whether it's happening in Indonesia. Right? So that means political capture is a so serious thing. And then lack of acceptable translations from transnational organizations, national governments, local governments. Examples I mentioned, India, Sri Lanka, this is our project. Translation means what? Is it the language? No. It's not about English version. It's not that. Translation means sociological translation. Because when you say people to follow NPG or NPM or SDG, right? There should be some details. What is it? How we do that? How this each and every key SDG connect with the other SDGs? And what is the implementation level details? Where are they? How we connect national level with the local government? If you interview local government officials or local organizations, public sector, other organizations, and ask about, do you know in SDG? They don't know these things. But they know they are doing things. These are SDGs. Right? Are they not trained? But they are doing it. Even UK, even Japan. I was in Japan interviewing some Toyota council and then Suzuki, that their council people, local council, not the Toyota one. The city's name is Toyota. I talked to Toyota SDG, environmental manager, and all of other people. Only one person knew this language. What is it? And then I asked details. Actually, they are doing it, some of the things. This environmental focus is one of the things Japanese people in general. But they don't know this language. What is this? And how we do this approach much better, these guidelines and details. So these are indicators, and it's very good. The World Bank and all these guys are very good with brand nice models, pictures, indicators, and those things. But practicalities like how we connect with culture, local culture, how we manage the local politics when we are doing this. Obviously, these details not enough. I don't think details should be given. But whoever coming in and introducing these things must explain clearly in a simple language for people to understand. Otherwise, people either don't do it or resist it. Right? So this is the problem in relation to in here, the Nepal, India, and Sri Lanka. We did the World Bank study to PIFA, World Bank's branch, PIFA. It's about climate investment. climate investment. We end up with the same thing. And they think the climate investment means investing for the disaster issue. Managing disasters is the climate investment. So they have all the money for the disaster management, not for the long-term climate. Disasters happen because of the climate change. So to avoid the disasters like tsunamis and flooding in Indonesia, you have to go back to the root causes. It's not about resettling displaced people or giving them another economic support. That's the short term. Longer term, we have to look at why these things are happening. How we avoid this losing lives and things. This has to be more longer term, climate-based kind of analysis and the solution. So what the problem I'm saying here is that the translations to the local is not happening. Sociological translation, not linguistic translation like translating into Sri Lankan language or Indonesian language. Sociological translation to people to understand, right? So my talk is done, but I just, because of, suggestion to talk a bit of a research thing, I just have one more slide. So I apologize if you feel sleepy. Give me 1-2 minutes, then I finish and sit down. Okay. Last one. Last is always the best, right? So we are keeping always the best star players to the last, like I believe, I thought. Yeah, so these are the research going on in the public sector area. Otherwise, if you are thinking about doing a master's you all done, like a PhD dissertation, or if you have PhD, you are thinking of doing a research project or postdoc kind of a thing. So what is happening in the public sector research? This is with my just quick snapshot. I just thought yesterday night what I had. There are two levels of analysis in the public sector research or any research. This is I have to say. I mean, with respect to Ali, this contingency theory and all these things. So he covered the first part of the analysis. That means institutional analysis. Anyway, to analyze institutions and do a research, so we call institutional theory, contingency theory, research. Theories, obviously good theories, but those analyses are very much limited to institutional level. How the systems work, where are the problems in the system, why this organization doing that well and not giving any productivity. Always system-based kind of analysis, and it's involved like digitalization, digitalized budgeting, how to introduce what constraints in the. It's not a good advanced research. And capacity building work. Capacity building also very much with the institutional analysis. And then why the institution has changed, the institutional isopopism kind of things, all institutional analysis. And there's another level of research. This is coming with the, your knowledge, probably you all know, there are different research paradigms. There are functional research, positivist research, there are, descriptive research, in other words, and there are interpretive research, there are critical research. If you use the political theory, social theory, in research become critical research. So you are analyzing dust under the carpet. If you are analyzing only institutional level things, you are analyzing the carpet, analyzing the dust on the carpet, the problem on the carpet. It's descriptive. But if you want to see dust under the carpet, you have to pull up the carpet. Then only you can, oh my God, this is a clean room. Yes, no carpet here, I can pull up the carpet and show you cleaning not done well because the bigger problem is there. Right? So that's what the detectives do. Detectives, Sherlock Holmes, Monk, right? Monk, I think you probably watched one of these, and there are so many of mentalists, right? Netflix, everywhere, right? So these guys, what they do is they go to the field. They have some clue, but when you are trying to find who did this crime, right? They always put this, talk to people and find out some bricks and pieces, right? And then when talking to people and then about when one person says something, oh, the other guy was probably there. I saw the other guy moving at the time, talking to the other guy. Likewise, then you come into the end result that who did this thing. But how? Going for further investigations, there are some theories behind. These are not explaining the carpet, dust on the carpet, dust under the carpet. Criminology. Criminal Minds. If you watch these dramas like Criminal Minds, you can see how advanced these psychology theories and the criminal psychology. You don't need to learn criminal psychology. Don't worry, I'm taking a dangerous, serious example to wake you up if you are sleeping. There are social theories, sociological theories, like Bavarian theory, Bourdieu, and this guy. I always use Giddens, Stones, right? And Foucault. All those are big words, but easy to understand theory. You can read, right? And what I'm saying is bringing from another level of analysis. And then, if you can't use a theory, still you can interview more people, bringing the people perspective. It's what called interpretive research. So that's the second part is agential conflicts and the power. When the system changes happen, and then when something is being implemented, there's always so many people involved. You can't do a research by just analyzing secondary data and then the reports and just talking to the managers. Managers are always right. They always give you nice painted. That's why I hate analyzing annual reports. If you are analyzing annual reports, then talk about SDG reporting in that particular industry, in the country. That's the worst level of doing research to me. Because this is that's institutional level analysis, but corporate always mislead. Always. You don't say that my hypothesis is very too generic and stereotyped. I can bet without hesitation. The corporate reports, the annual reports, what they show in relation to CSR, and even not CSR, simple financial data, they don't show what is real. Now think about Marks and Spencer kind of retail brands in UK, US. They always say, we are looking after our employees, looking after our society. Where are their employees? Their employees are in Bangladesh. Their employees are in Indonesia. Only then when this explosion happened in the factory, we realized health and safety of these employees. We realized how much these employees are paid. Only after an explosion, not a joke. People lost their life while working in the factory. These are M&S, Marks and Spencer employees. So have they said that in the annual report? No. We found in the newspapers. So that's not, think about it, right? What I'm saying is when you're doing research, you should be sensible. Don't do like, just swimming is swimming. You can just watch YouTube without jumping into the pool. You can read manuals, you can read news articles about how to swim. I did that. But when I learned swimming after around like 30, 35, and then I still am 35, okay? But jump into the swimming pool, then I realized it's not like YouTube swimming. It took me ages to learn swimming. So what I'm saying is research is like that as well. That's the relevance. If you want a shortcut, yeah. But the research, real research takes time. Ph.D. or masters, whatever. That's the way. So then my point here is I'm talking something important because he said talk something. So second level, agential conflict and the power. I mean, how people react and what issues, politics, how the politics involve, where the power and the domination. These are the reasons public sector not work. This is why public sector, can we tell politicians or the public sector officials what to do? There's so much of power, domination, exploitation, using the status quo to ruin the life of other employees, right? So many, bullying, put in that way. So much of bullying in the workplaces. So that's common. So if you are ignoring all that analyzed public sector performances, that's a joke. So all my papers, if you look at my publication, if you have time, just look at it, don't read it. All the way about these issues, people issues. Because people create systems, institutions. People manage systems, institutions. To whom? For the people. So without people, no research. Analyzing people involved with the institutions, there's no research. And if you talk to the villagers who are in one of the regions of your own country, they will tell you the problems that they are having in relation to public sector service management. Okay, so there's another research, technically participated budgeting, empowerment of citizens and political capture of budget. I think I mentioned that. And there's another area is financial resilience in the public sector. This is become more popular after COVID management, COVID-19, because it exposed governments, local governments, and even UK, local governments shut down mean they liquidated, in the sense, they bankrupt, that's the right word. They are bankrupt. 114 local councils bankrupt. They followed the NPM. They followed accrual. Right? They followed all these things. And they are NHS. Our NHS is the worst in terms of they use all these things in PM, NPG, accrual, but still worstly managed public sector institution in the UK. So my point is that the financial resilience, because resilience, how stable the organization to face any shocking events. Right? So then and your country also increasing tax, personal tax, also still try to recover economically. So this is another area of research. And then public values and localization, that means publicness and the localization. That means it covers all sustainable development, for example, nowadays, how these things are translated into the local level. That's what I mentioned previous slide. This is another big research side. And I have done a special issue. We have collected papers, that issue coming out, publicness and localized development. In the financial account, Henry, and that's our journal, that's one. He's sleeping already. He's reading something. Yeah, so that's the financial accountability and management. That journal, we done this special issue for the last one. Publicness and the localization of development. So that's the area, so much of research going on nowadays. So these are the directions, and I just touched about the type of research they can do. But I am more than happy to give you the opportunity to ask any questions in relation to my presentation or anything in relation to your ideas of any research ideas like methodological or something wise. If you want to ask, because these things, there's one of the other things, sorry, I stopped 1 minute. I know. When I start talking, problem is to stop. And the thing is that when you have opportunity to ask questions or engage with any conversation with anyone, you should take that opportunity. That's one of the basic steps that early careers that you need to do. I'm not saying all early careers, but whoever in the early career, I'm saying, this opportunity is to talk. And even in my personal context, this is here, I have taken 2, 3, 4 of Indonesian Ph.D. students myself. I directed them to other places as well. Those guys sometimes, they knew me like 5, 6 years. Right? I think I told you some stories on the way. And suddenly, some guys needed support because of personal reasons. Again, we got I'm not saying I can do it always, but we are connected. We can introduce you to other people and not to everyone, at least few of you. So that's when you have a time for questions and discussions, anyone, not just me, use that opportunity. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much.
not sleeping.
Thank you so much indeed, Prof. Kelum, for bringing the remarkable presentation. And please once again give a rounded big applause to Prof. Kelum. So we have plenty time for this session. So now we enter the plenary discussion, and we encourage to you all to raise the questions. For all the questions we gathered, we will select only 3 questions in the first beginning and edit into additional questions. And if you have many questions, we apologize that all the questions cannot be addressed and should be delivered for the speakers. Okay, for the first 3 questions from the offline participants, from Pak Hendrian. Okay, Pak Hendrian, time is yours for the questions. Okay, this is the mic.
Okay, Prof. Kelum, to meet you in this seminar. I think this matter is important and interesting to me. I have 3 points to ask you. In the first, you not talk about hegemony. You know, hegemony is important in the public sector. We see the hegemony media important. What do you think about that in public sector? In the second, I want to ask about how can a local government leverage the sustainable development goals to unlock economic, social, and environmental value? Okay.
Local government.
Yeah. And the third, what are the implications of political capture on public sector performance and accountability? Okay, 3 points to ask you. The first about hegemony, and the second SDGs, and okay.
Yeah, I think the first one and the third one are connected to some extent because, even our own paper, we published a paper together on this political hegemony thing about this audit practice in the Supreme Audit Institutions of Indonesia, and then it's not confidential, it's in public paper. So then how the junior auditors, they are doing the job, how the municipal political hegemony has wearing into their activities at that level. So this political capture at the local level has a connection because it's almost a similar thing because when the officials or the decision makers design strategies and goals and the plans, actions, say using participative budgeting or whatever, when the political interests come up on top of that, they decide which actions, which decisions can be allowed to implement because they need at the end, they are the decision maker, the approvals coming from them, the mayors and the MPs, and then they are in the influential positions. That's what the meaning of political capture. So in that sense, the officials are already pre-stage discussions also, they are being influenced by this political hegemony, even at the local government level. It is already present in the very beginning. There are officials, when they go to discussion, they represent hegemonic interest. That's what they read. I didn't go to details because it's become too research-based discussion, that's why I didn't go. But it's a very good question. But I would say the first and the third one are connected. And then you may ask about the SDGs, about how the sustainable development initiatives, how that can be designed and bring forward in the local government level. I think that is again connected to this what we said, because it's not about problem with the NPM, NPGO, SDG. End of the day, it's about the local culture, the politics, and the setting that the localization in general, how we bring these big ideas into practice. Because even the main documents, proposals or frameworks, or the models are made in outside our countries, emerging economies. The imagination is whatever happening in the Europe, US and UK and kind of places, equally can be implemented subject to these changes they are proposing in our country levels. But this is the situation, the context in our country level are beyond imagination. That's what in the last 30, 40, 50 years happened, right? It's not a new thing. That's not the problem. The problem is our countries have to have our own initiatives first like in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, although I highlight Sri Lanka all the time, or the new government form, by people. There's no elite people in the leadership. All Marxist type, I'm not saying, they're not Marxist, they started as Marxist. They are progressive, left-wing, but understand the capitalism and these movements of World Bank. So they are more like pragmatic people, came from grassroots, ordinary people. It's happening all over now in the world, this movement. All people say nationalism. The US and other countries, they say they are nationalist movement. They are people movement from the countries, the owners of this country. they are not supporters or muppets of this US or other global north. That's why they don't like it. Sri Lanka is one best example. So then that change must happen first before thinking about SDG adaptation. I mean, at least local level, there should be pressure groups, citizen movement to make sure in that local culture and the politics are not upsetting the good decisions made by public sector officials and the strategists, whoever. Institutional entrepreneurs, people say, those good guys in the public. All right. I don't know why I answered, but I just...
hopefully
he
this...
put me in trouble.
hopefully it satisfied your question, sir. So for the next participants who wants to raise a question, we may please to you all. Okay, second question coming from this handsome guy in this room. Okay, please, Mr. Chris.
Hello, Prof. Kelum. Thank you for your material. Is very important for us. Okay, from your side, Prof, about the lack of employee empowerment and of improving performance and job satisfaction and promoting innovative, especially in agential conflicts between agent is executive and principal is legislative on local government. What I know, Prof, based on my research, is that government employees, especially regional government employees, usually government employees provided a favorable situation for executives, making it easier to carry out their duties and functions. I want to ask Prof, what are the most relevant performance indicators to measure individual government employees to contribution to achieving the SDGs and how to ensure that they are objective and reliable? Thank you, Prof.
I think it's a very difficult, good question, thank you, but it's a difficult question to answer in the sense of providing very specific details like these are the guidelines. But as I said, in the voluntary local review, for example, it's exactly what it's doing. Voluntary local review, that's what exactly I did. And taking all the departments in the local council, including these economic services, environment services, irrigation, water management, health and safety, hygienic factors, and all these details are covered by SDG framework, for example. It has further indicators, not just 17, it's like 350 details. So each cover like bundles of sub-indicators. If you look at this SDG framework in detail, and that itself is a good guideline to measure the performances of these employees, doesn't matter which department they are working on, which level they are. It's a rich, I think I haven't seen such a document for a long time. I mean, I normally don't like World Bank, IMF thing. I'm brutally critical of their work. It's a different discussion. I'm not talking that here. So I hate. But then I started working with them as well, for them, but in my way. So then as I realized, it's just about we need to press them. So the SDG framework is also not just me. All these pressures came from various factors. Environmentalists, for example. So it's good if you look at this framework. Maybe that the answers remain there. The details in that same document framework. And now in our report, even I don't believe that the details we analyzed. Each detail has someone responsible, and it's a responsibility management, right? Responsibility centers in management accounting terms. So like these details gives the idea who responsible for what, how much money they had, what problems they faced, whether they achieved it, why not. what else they can do, then, kind of. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much indeed, Mr. Christ. And the next, if you may still have a question from this room for the participant, okay, please mention your name and also please also raise the questions to Prof. Kelum. Okay, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you, Professor Kelum. I'm Agustin from Accounting Department. Welcome to Indonesia again, and especially to Universitas Terbuka. Refer to your explanation before about what we call it with GAP for the theories and practical implementation on industry, especially in public issue. Still there a hole or a gap to business, especially for business. And my short question is, how do the international public sector accounting standard or IPSAS contribute to public sector accountability? That I have a strong interest to get your insight on that for future research, actually. Thank you very much.
I think that's a good question again. But the thing, these results are always mixed. And the thing is that when you say IPSAS or whatever the name it is, International Public Sector Accounting Standards, and then the intention was good. Making this accrual-based accounting, reporting, recording, and reporting systems, it gives a kind of logically, it constrains people stealing money, simple words. It's established accountability, because then if everything is recorded in the accrual basis, there's the room for channeling the money outside the already agreed provisions. It's difficult. That was the argument. But it's a good framework. But the problem is when they brought this IPSAS into national and local level, there were practical issues. There were capacity issues. And there were, for example, mainly about the lack of trained professional public sector accountants, accounting bodies, and then other resources, such as economic resources, for example. Like, for example, simply you need a computerized accounting system, for example. Some countries, they don't have that even basically. And number two. And then number three was it's not like the private sector assessed. Public sector assessed difficult to measure some of the assessed. Say the councils are owning some museums, some some places like, if say Rome, every building worth, as you know, price for all these buildings and historical places. So then the local councils, they have to measure it, right? How they measure it? So then IPSAS is, in that sense, incomplete about how to actually apply this. So there are issues like that, so many, and then the culture, how the public sector accountants used to work. It was easy for them, cash based, and then easy for the politicians as well to steal the money. So then these people resisted in some levels. Some level they disturb the natural transfer from cash to accrual. So what happened in result is, you can read the papers, even my papers as well. We talk about this in Nepal, for example, in Sri Lanka, for example. The ultimate result is that the process introduction at the national level as a policy, that level is fine. But then in the practice, that when it's taken into the local levels, it's failed. It's because of the reasons that I just highlighted. So that's why they go on to modified IPSAS, they call it. It's a kind of a middle ground. They realize it's not going to work. So the main problem in all these modeling is that the local cultures and the politics in emerging economies are very different to the setups in UK, US, and various countries where these suggestions are decided and publicized. Even those countries, public sector standards not working, not producing the results they are intended. Even in UK, it's mentioned that. If they can't do this, where this being developed, how we do them? This world is more than we think, they think. That's the problem.
Okay, thank you so much indeed, Ibu, for the Ibu Agustin for the questions. And still, we have much time to be here. Okay, from the participants in the room. Okay, you may raise your hand. Please name so the question, please.
Thank you, Prof. Kelum, for sharing your insight to us. My name is Adam, a lecturer from Management Study Program. As we know, political landscape is changing around the world. For example, the presidential election in Indonesia, United States, and other countries. The question is, how does political leadership influence public sector performance? Yeah, the question is about it. Yeah, thank you.
Good question, huge question. I mean, this involved with the geopolitics and various things. You mentioned presidential, US presidential election. That's starting to ask the question from that level, that means it involves geopolitics. I mean, which region this new president interested and so. I don't like to talk what is out of our discussion. But it's filtering the new Indonesian president and a relatively progressive guy I heard. So that he has to clean up what happened in the past. This coming into the, if you ask about this example, I can relate to family or company. If it relates to company, CEO change or vice chancellor change. New vice chancellor has his own values, ethos, changing the systems, implementation mechanism to his own imagination. If a company doing well, CEO is a good CEO. If a family, children doing well, grandchildren doing well, who is the lead person doing that? Whoever the household head, dad or mom, I don't say dad. Male dominant society, dad. Other societies, dad or mom or together. Right? So leadership. Obviously, leadership is the biggest thing. As I mentioned Sri Lanka. I believe the new leadership changed many things so that they bring more governance framework and then more accountability frameworks to the public sector. And then mainly the actions, not the models, not the framework. It's about actions. If the public sector employees are given freedom, the authority, and the resources to implement what they are supposed to implement, decide and implement, then public sector can work. The main issue is that they are not empowered, they are not given the power, they are not given the resources and the authority. And then how they make decisions. And when they make right decisions, even that after that, sometimes the politicians, they are the ultimate approval coming from them. So there's no system in place, objective system in place. There are systems, but they are not objective systems. They are politicized systems. So then that change can happen with the leadership, obviously. Yeah. Regional leaders, they can, but the limit is, there's a limited, like you see now even in Indonesia, papaya, working their way. I know it's the right way or wrong way. Their way of doing participatory budgeting, local government, arrangement different to Georgia. Georgia managed by Sultan. Jakarta mayor is appointed by people. Georgia mayor is not appointed by the people, coming from your tradition. So this internal, regional, political setup has a big bearing on how the local governments function. So leadership is very important. Okay. Answer is over. I don't know.
Okay. Furthermore, we move into the online participants, and we call off for the offline audience for a while. Okay, from the virtual room, we are seeing Pak Firman Syarif. You raise your hands and please raise a question to us, to Prof. Kelum.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, moderator. My name Firman Sarif. I am from Universitas Sumatera Utara, Medan, Indonesia.
From USU.
Yes.
Sumatera Utara.
Yeah. I am Dr. Adrian friends when we study in Gajah Mada.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, comparing between private sector and public sector, that we all know that in public sector accepting money from selling something, business, and we all know also in Indonesia public sector from APBN, state budget, revenue and expenditure from central and from provincial government accept money from APBD, regional budget, revenue and expenditures. Yeah, this is only example from Sumatera Utara, not Sumatra, that governor here accepted 13 million a year, and from Wali Kota accepted 7 million a year, and also from Bupati, I don't know in English to say in English, accept 5 million average. So when we can count from Aceh to Papua New Guinea, 100 millions. But correct me if I'm wrong. I always read from newspaper and also from television, the problem of using money, misuse the budget with by not good government employee, that they did wrongly misuse the budget by doing corruption. So the question is, this question addressed to both professors, both speakers. Please say if my thought is wrong or not, because this is what I know, what I read from newspaper and television. Watch television.
Recording in progress.
Between that corruption and public sector accounting. That's all, Professor. Thank you very much, moderator.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kelum. So we are in the grips of corruption in this a whole of the institution, the government institution. So there's a misuse of the budget, and many like embezzlement, sometimes they also bribes the government staff and something like that. So
recording in progress.
How to overcome these frequent activities that
I thought it's like only happening in Sri Lanka and Africa. It's happening here as well in that case. Okay. I think, problem is we discussed this similar line of, like when we asked about the leadership thing as well. So in the corruption case, one thing I have to agree and then just give further clarification and extension is the officials are sometimes bribed, but at the same time officials are also involved. This is more like institutional corruption. This the public sector corruption. This institutional corruption mean politicians cannot do these corrupt things without involvement of the officials. So politicians and officials together, it is done. That's the way. People don't like to say that, but that is the reality. Right? If I don't mentioning it, universities, some universities, the people who administration, they involved with corruption, student recruitment and all that in Indonesia. It's happening in other countries as well. So it's the organized corruption within institutionalized corruption. So to change that, yes, the leadership, political culture has to be changed. So it is not beyond, it's not my role or something, it's beyond our discussion, that things. So that's for example in Sri Lanka and Kenya. So this is a much bigger thing, I think, cannot answer that how we do what we start. But the only thing is that we, civil society, we can say in that level, civil society has a role. Right? If we are responsible, if I am a public servant, if I do my duty well, not listening to pressures, then I may lose the job obviously. So I have two options. One is to follow my own principles, or sacrificing my principles, and then giving up, become a corrupt person. I think this choice is ours. So the only thing is our own responsibility in our level, individual level. That's the way I feel. Otherwise, whatever the models we ping, whatever the NPM, NPG, SDG, all our models, it's all in our hands. So we are the implementers. Right? The way we are implementing with our, it's a kind of a social justice with our, soul into it, without involving this, whatever the hegemony is, like you mentioned, invisible political hegemony. Now the Indonesian audit report, pre-audit report goes out in 2021 and 2022. That report is not something confidential, it's publicly available. It reported how the public organizations are being involved in the corruption, the list of organizations. Right? So then you know what to do. Sacking these employees? No. Look at the rules. These staff involved with politicians. So then Supreme Audit Institution must involve as a regulatory body, and then Supreme Audit Institution itself has a problem of political invisible, political hegemonic influence in the end and our favor. So Supreme Audit published about their public accounting organizations' corruption. Within Supreme Audit Institution, there's another problem implementing this thing. So it's the leadership issue, right? I mean, I don't know how to solve this. I don't have an answer. I can highlight there's a problem. But yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. But it's a good question. Yeah.
Okay, good question, Firman, from you. And if you may, any other question, because we have more time to go. Please, if somebody in the online virtual room to raise the questions, if any. We let you to have a questions in chat room, or you may raise your hands. Okay. We still have a time, Prof. Kelum, to discuss this. Okay. Anybody here in the room, in the offline room? Okay, I think nobody wants to discuss about this. Oh, Bu Olive. Oh, yeah. There's a question from, maybe this is the last question, yeah? From
Probably
Olive.
the last question.
Okay.
Sorry, it's about corruption again. Because we all know that Indonesia have a high level of corruption here. Even our top-notch government leaders do the corruption as well. So what do you think the role of the international actors, probably like foreign government or international organization, what can they do to help to support Indonesia anti-corruption effort?
Again, very important and relevant question, I have to say. But at the same time, it again has very complicated issues behind. Because if you say international organization, Amnesty International and so on, you also have a political agenda themselves. They are representing a different view, and their notion of countries accountable, this country is not accountable based on this country is whether supportive to US or not, for example. So they are also representing certain agendas. So, they are also corrupt in that sense. They stand for some local, global issues when the issue is so supportive to one party or the other in the global, it's geopolitical and global political order. Now see Palestine. It's not public sector corruption. I'm not hesitant to talk about that. So many people died. It doesn't matter whether they are which religion and who are the people who are killing religion. This is not beyond a human being. All. So where is this human rights organization? Where are they? Where are they? Same thing. Public sector. If Indonesian government is a friend to whatever, whoever they are, then these people are not asking these legitimate questions. So they are corrupt in that sense. Non-governmental organizations coming into international organizations, they come and work. How many years they done this? They work so many. USAID, for example. They try to create this accountability and everything. How many years working in the government? It's called third sector organizations. What they did, or whom they hired? They hired local people. Even the USAID, people work for USAID, Indonesians or Sri Lankans. Okay, I talk about Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan USAID, people work for USAID, the Sri Lankan. Few officials there. That's an NGO, so they are well paid. What they done in the past was, this is their job. This is their lucrative job. They given pajamas and so it, like in English, nice suits. They live with it. This is what the SEC and these people are doing. What are they doing? Who are the SEC local people? That's the epistemic community. Epistemic means community that living with that prestige, values and that prestige. So they are also doing a business. This so-called MSD and all these people are also doing a business. They have different agendas behind that. ACCs are selling products. They are not trying to transform the accounting profession in the way to suit with the. If you go in SEC presentations or even IPSA's presentations, it's a whole waste of time because they have different projects. They implement different projects. Consultants, right? What do these consultants do? Do they change the Indonesian practice? They have a nice, comfortable life, stay in the best hotels and then drive in good, best cars, talk nice English presentation. Nothing else. So I think the bigger issue is that these people or whoever come and make this change, it should be locally driven, connect with the locals. Right? If the local issues are not solved by locals, whatever the external people coming in and doing is like in another trap. In addition to this problem, our problem, there's further problems. Serving which they say whether in the Chinese sub-position or Russian position or US position and all these sort of other things coming up. So there's no answer, but I think my answer is beyond our accounting discussions. It's about civil society activism, about the environment. Who should take the action? Us. We should be responsible for our action. This is the environment, not the organization blaming it to others. We have to stop that. Right? We have to take our own actions towards this direction. It's not just a public sector accounting issue anymore, right? These issues are generic issues. That's what in Sri Lanka, Kenya and these countries people did. They come out to the streets at the end, YouTubes and then write the young generation are not like us. Obviously, we are also young generation, but YouTube generation, they change the government. They have to make a voice. That's the way. I think making a voice, this is beyond accounting, I have to say. But it's not I believe. Well, now the new government, Sri Lanka, for example, if I give detail, I have a lot of my friends involved as well. As ministers also, they involved in policy making. I involved party in some discussions as well. It's the people movement altogether. Good governance, accountability on the top. And then the public sector also will deliver. Public officials were warned about that. Their involvement, because they said, we were the ones said you to do bad things. We won't do that. We won't use public cars and its benefits, anything. We don't tell you, interfere your work. Then what officials should do their work? That's not a theory, that's a practice in Sri Lanka now, in the right this moment.
Okay. Thank you, Professor, for the impeccable explanation. And now the time has brought us all to the edge of the session, the second session and the first session as well. Thank you so much indeed once again, Professor Kelum, for the insightful presentation. And please give applause, a big rounded applause to Prof. Kelum. Okay, some of the note that we may highlight from your thoughts, your remarks, and also the presentation from Prof. Kelum. In summary, improving performance in the public sector is multifaceted challenge that requires a comprehensive approach. So furthermore, this presentation has highlighted several area keys like a public sector accounting and accountability, drivers of performance improvement, frameworks for improvement, challenges in public sector performance, research and future direction. And that concludes for the first and second session. And thank you so much indeed, Prof. Kelum and Prof. Ali, that's not here, but I want to gratefully thanks to both of the speakers. And please remain in the session because we will present a token of appreciation from the Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka. And I will hand over this session to our beautiful ladies here, our MCs, Prof. Miss Anissa Zawa.
All right, thank you very much to our moderator and our speakers. Please give big applause to our speakers. And thank you very much for your enthusiasm. What a great discussion. We hope the insights shared today have been enlightening. Ladies and gentlemen, to express our gratitude, we would like to present certificates of appreciation to our distinguished speakers. We invite Ms. Olivia to hand over the certificate to Prof. Kelum. And Professor Kelum, we typically give caricature from Faculty of Economics and Business. We hope you like the certificate and the caricature. We also have caricature for you and so some okay, now we invite the moderator to take a picture together with Miss Olivia. So cute. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, done. Thank you very much. All right, everyone, please give applause again to our speakers. Ms. Olivia, sorry, we also have certificate for Mr. Martino Wibowo as our moderator in this agenda. Okay, please give applause to our moderator. All right, thank you, Mr. Martino, Ms. Olivia, and our excellent speakers, Prof. Kelum. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And also congratulations to our speakers for your valuable contributions. As we conclude, we extend our gratitude to all our speakers, participants, and organizing committee for making this webinar a success. Let us continue fostering knowledge and collaboration in the field of behavioral accounting and strategic financial management. Everyone, don't forget to fill the feedback link. So in order to everyone get the certificate of this webinar. All right, thank you very much and have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.